2008 when the market crashed. I crashed right along with it. And man, I lost everything. When I say everything, absolutely everything. You know, real estate could be a roller coaster. You could be going up and then you can have a couple opportunities and you can go down. So you just kind of manage your money correctly.
You can't use perfectionism as a excuse for procrastination. You need to just execute and you figure it out along the way. Like you get better by doing it.
I think mentality is the key to everything. If you had the right type of mentality, I think you can do anything you put your mind to.
You can always tell somebody's character when they start winning. You know, some people, they have billionaires who will sit there and talk about, like with a straight face, I need more money. I need more money. I don't have enough money.
Shot a YouTube video talking about my coaching program. I'm gonna put it out on YouTube. And these guys out of Dubai seen the video and they bought like 100 houses off of me in 1 year.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the A-Lister Show, where we bring on movers and shakers, entrepreneurs, people doing interesting things with amazing stories to tell. And today we have an amazing guest. It's no different than always. It's Armond Wright. How you doing today, Armond?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah.
And I want to jump right into it and ask you about what it is that you do.
Well, I do real estate. I'm a real estate coach and a real estate investor, actually a real estate broker as well. But I specialize in real estate seller financing. And what that is where the seller gets involved in selling the property, like they assist in the financing. Like say, for example, if you ever heard of like where people go to the car lots where they have the buy here, pay here car lots.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I kind of, I show people how to do, where a person come to you and they don't have to worry about the financing. It's like in-house financing. So you can buy properties that way and you can sell properties that way as well.
Gotcha. So you're kind of acting as the bank, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing that for?
I've been doing this since 2009, because prior to 2008 prior to that, I had built up an amazing portfolio. At least it was pretty amazing on my level anyway. I had 40 doors at a 15-unit apartment building, 4-unit apartment building, and houses all across Toledo, Ohio. That's where I'm from, Toledo, Ohio. Very amazing business. And in 2008, when the market crashed, I crashed right along with it. And man, I lost everything. When I say everything, absolutely everything. My personal house, I lost all the houses, all my money. My personal home got foreclosed against. My personal car got repoed, and I took a job out in Missouri with PepsiCo. And I moved out there with a U-Haul truck. So for like the first couple of weeks, the big U-Haul truck, not the little one, but the big one. So like for the first couple of weeks, the U-Haul truck was my main vehicle driving back and forth.
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of, it was embarrassing. I'm working in management. I'm driving a big U-Haul truck, parking it in the parking lot.
Oh my goodness.
But I got involved. I found a mentor. That's one of the keys I usually share with folks. When you get involved in real estate, get a mentor that can kind of help guide you. So prior to that, I didn't have a mentor. I just kind of figured some things out and ran with it. But I got a mentor and they kind of showed me this real estate seller financing. And I've been doing it ever since. I built everything back, done millions of dollars. And my mission in life is to show as many people as possible how they can get started in this business and run it all the way up. Because I started with absolutely nothing, horrible credit, no money, and went on from there to make millions of dollars and built my portfolio all the way back up.
Millions of dollars?
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Yeah.
Take me back to this crash. I mean, that was a rough time for a lot of people.
Right.
What was going through your head when you lost everything?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it was just kind of natural as far as, you have setbacks and you just keep going just because of, I started with nothing. I come from a very humble background. We pretty much were, poor, for lack of a better word. We pretty much didn't have anything. And growing up in the inner city of Toledo, it wouldn't be uncommon, just to kind of get the people a picture, it wouldn't be uncommon like you might be sleeping and you wake up to gunshots, you know what I mean? So it was just a very rough environment. So coming from a real rough environment like that, in order to make a lot of money, great, you win it. But, when everything went away, I mean, it still wasn't as bad as where I came from, you know what I mean? Because when I grew up in that area, I didn't have like other resources, the knowledge or whatever to be able to bounce back. But mindset, just having a strong mindset, even making it through that, just kind of learned that from my uncles and my grandmother and grandfather who raised me, just, teach you to always be positive and have a pretty strong mindset, and you can pretty much accomplish anything you want.
Yeah. And so after the crash, you went back and took a job, basically?
Yes. Yeah. I had no choice.
Yeah. Was it a step back in your life, in your career, do you feel like, when you took a job?
Well, yeah, it was a very humble experience. Coming from, multi-million-dollar deal. You got all these houses, apartment buildings, and money is really not an object. And to go back to take a job, yeah, absolutely, it was a step back. But I mean, I think everything happens for a reason. It allowed, I focused in and found a mentor, and that pretty much, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have got connected to the mentor and got connected into this business. In my opinion, this business is recession proof. You can just pretty much do it forever.
Yeah. So how did you transition from having that job, losing everything, having to take a job to make ends meet, and then making a transition back into real estate?
Oh, that's an excellent question. And, one thing, I still do things kind of my own way, march to the beat of my own drum, which sometimes works and oftentimes don't work, but you learn along the way. So what I did was, as things started progressing and, I'm starting to do quite a few deals, I left a couple jobs prematurely. Yeah, then had to go back and take the job. But one thing that's like my mentor kind of taught me is that, say, for example, if you're making X amount of dollars at your job, because you're only working just because you're making that X, whatever that X is, right? So if you make that X 3 months in a row, then evaluate things or possibly leaving the job. Of course, I didn't do that the first couple times.
You're talking about making X in your side thing.
No, meaning making X, in your side thing.
Right, so on top of your job.
Right.
In order for you to evaluate whether you should leave your job or not.
Right. So say if you're making, this rough number, say $6,000 a month at your job. And if you're making $6,000 a month in your business, and if you do that 3 months in a row, maybe evaluate that and see if is this the time for you to leave.
I like that.
I mean, that makes perfect common sense, Of course, I didn't do that like the first couple times.
Like, I made $3,000. I am out.
Or better yet, I'm ready. I got deals on the table. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. And I pretty much left. Right?
There you go.
But the last, all the years that I worked, I had a job that most of the jobs, even though I was a good employee, at least I thought I was a good employee, most of the jobs I really didn't like.
Your bosses didn't think so.
Right. Well, no, some of them, I got some really, good things. I got with Daimler Chrysler, I put in a cost savings idea, saved them $500,000 annually, and they still use it to this day. So
what did you do in the corporate world, like at Pepsi and Chrysler and stuff like that?
Mainly production supervisor. That's the main thing. But my background is in engineering.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got an engineering degree, MBA, and Six Sigma Black Belt.
Okay.
So that's was my my backup plan if anything else, if things was to go all sideways like they did or whatever.
Yeah.
But as the last job that I had, for whatever reason, they liked me, I liked them. It was good situation, good situation. Usually, I didn't have that. I never had a job that I liked, and then the feeling is mutual. It's like match married. It was just perfect, right? So I'm doing my real estate thing on the side, right? And I did a few deals, nothing to write home about. I think it was like maybe $5,000-7,000 in deals, nothing really crazy, just a few deals. But what I did was I shot a YouTube video. Talking about my coaching program that I'm going to put out there. And I put it out on YouTube. And these guys out of Dubai seen the video. And they bought like 100 houses off of me in 1 year. Like 78 of them were like rehab. So made like 1.1 million.
Let's go.
Yeah. Wow. So
that is the beauty of putting yourself out there.
Yes.
You took this video. You had no idea if anyone was going to see it, because you didn't even have a big YouTube channel.
Right.
You put it on YouTube. Some random people saw it.
Right.
And you created a relationship.
Yes.
You know, and that's why people care about their following size. I don't have 10 million followers.
Right.
If you got one good follower,
Right.
sometimes that could mean way more money, way more relationships, way more abundance than anything else that anybody could have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, amazing.
It was so cool. Like what happened was, I had the idea to do the video in Toledo. I was living in Indiana. Well, I still live in Indiana at the time. And I was teaching my daughter how to drive. So she's driving around. I said, hey, we're gonna go downtown. We're gonna shoot the video. So she shot the video with my cell phone. Not like, this is all wonderful, but it was just off a cell phone, shot the video and put it up. And it's that one video turned into the relationship, like you said,
Wow.
which ended up generating like $1.1 million.
And what year was this?
This was back in 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't shot like on a Nokia or anything. At least you probably had a smartphone back then.
I was iPhone.
Okay.
It was iPhone. Yeah, it was
Cool,
iPhone.
cool. So,
Yeah.
yeah, good phones back then.
Yeah.
Cool. So that was while you still had your job?
When we did the video, yes.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then what happened was, so with the guys I was working, and it's kind of a unique situation too. So when the guys we first met, the guy called me because to buy different time zones or whatever. But it was I'm in Eastern time zone. It was like 11:30 at night, and he called me up. That's one tip I usually tell people: always answer your phone. You never know where the next deal is going to be at. Never know where your next business partner, money partner is going to be at. So always answer your phone.
Shit, these days you'd be talking to a bunch of Indian scammers and stuff if you'd be answering your phone too much.
Absolutely, I still do it, man. I mean, I still do it. I mean, hey, if it's a live person, we might have a little chit chat, a couple jokes or whatever. But then I just block it or whatever.
That's
and just
a good
keep
mentality.
Going. But yeah, always answer your phone. So answer the call. We had a conversation, and the guy said, he said, Armond, I want to buy 100 houses. And, it was 11:30 at night, and I was half asleep. And I was like, yeah. And, you have so many people that kind of just talk trash.
Of course. Why would you believe some random person that calls you 11:30 at night?
And he said, just one problem. I was like, what's that? He said, I don't have no money. And I thought that was the funniest thing ever, man. So that I started laughing, and that woke me up. I'm like, man, this guy called me up at 11:30 at night. He wanted to buy 100 houses, and he don't have no money. So here's the deal, though. So the phrase where they say your network is your net worth, right?
That's right.
So one thing, I'm over here in Indiana, and I don't have no money to buy 100 houses. He's in Dubai. He don't have no money. So he's surrounded around a lot of people, right? And the guy could talk. So he started talking. He had 70,000 at the time. That'd buy you like a couple houses.
Right.
But we bought one house. Then his father gave him 175,000. So he was able to buy a couple houses.
Wasn't that nice of his father to do that?
Yeah. So after we got like 2 or 3, his brother had a deal going that didn't go through. He put up $1 million. And like I said, the guy had a gift for gab. He went over to Germany and gave a speech. He raised another $1 million. And then he came back home and talked to his father's friends, and they threw in another $1 million. And he called me up. I was at work at the time. He called me up. He said he had a dream. I was like, yeah, you called me up. You had a dream, okay? I said, what's that? He said, God told me to work with you without hesitation.
Wow.
I told him, God is good.
Wow.
And we went on. It was nuts, man. I was bringing in like 150,000 a month.
Wow.
For a
And
while.
your commissions.
Well, all of that wasn't profit.
Right,
That
right,
was like
right.
total revenue.
Okay. Gotcha.
So a lot of things had to be paid out.
Sure.
But yeah,
Okay.
it was nuts. It was, as one guy would say, it was a rocket ride.
What a crazy
Yeah, we were
story.
in 9 cities, 3 different states. It was wild, man. So I had my son working with me, my daughter working with me. My oldest daughter, and she's like my protege,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's done over 300 deals with me.
Wow.
Yeah. My daughter, I got 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls. And, you always want your boys to be, to take after dad, take the business and run with it. But man, I wouldn't trade my girls for nothing in the world.
Wow.
I got some really good, strong women. And my daughter, man, she's really good girl, man. She's a minister. She's in North Carolina. She's really sharp businesswoman.
Wow.
Then my youngest daughter was actually the first one to start working with me. The one that, shot the video. She started working with me. She always wanted to do the business because, prior to when I had, before the crash, she always just wanted to get involved in the business, So when she was 14, she's like, Dad, you always told me you're going to show me. I was like, man, you're 14 years old. I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, when you get out of school, baby, she says, no, I want to learn real estate. I want to learn real estate now. So I said, I'll tell you what, we can either go to the fireworks, which in Toledo, they have a really nice fireworks display, or I can sit down and explain everything about this real estate business to you. Which one would you like to do? I want to learn real estate.
Wow.
Yeah. So for hours, we went through everything, man. And I got her on the phone, man. 14 years old, got her on the phone, and she closed 6 deals, man. Yeah, 14 years old. She's a beast. It's just like, just one thing I like about my girls, man, they just have really strong personalities. And that's, usually guys, talk very highly of their sons, but man, I wouldn't trade my girls for nothing in the world. Wow. My girls are tough, and they're good. And my daughter, she's like, my height, she's like 6 foot, a minister, yes. And when she talks, she, straight eye contact. It's just really, really good girls.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So that deal helped you transition out of your job, corporate?
With those multiple deals?
Well, I'm saying that relationship.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Yep. And then one thing too, like with the real estate investing, a lot of people think it's a whole lot about figuring stuff out. Very little of that. And once you get into it, you can pretty much wrap your mind around the concepts. The one piece is it's a big piece, but not as big as this next piece I'm gonna mention. So you got like I would say like 5% is kind of figuring everything out, and I would say 15% is like money management. So when you get this lump sum of money, in my opinion, because I know someone that kind of does things differently, we don't go out and buy the high level things, you know what I mean? So you take that money and you manage it correctly, because I mean, real estate could be a roller coaster. You could be going up, and then you can have a couple opportunities and you can go down. So you just kind of manage your money correctly. But the largest thing really, which is like in anything, I would say 80%. So money, 5% is learning the techniques, 15% would be like money management. But the largest piece of it is psychology, man, what goes on between the 2 ears, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. You know what I mean? With the mind that can conceive, if you believe, you can achieve.
Tell me more about that. What are some of the things that are important when it comes to psychology? How is that the biggest, most important piece of this?
Well, I mean, you just gotta just constantly feed your mind, because your mind is like a blank canvas. You know what I mean? Like, say you could be influenced to be thinking negative, or you can be influence yourself to go positive. So you just got to constantly feed your mind. It's a muscle. So you just got to constantly pour in that positive information, surround yourself around positive people, and just constantly push forward. And then, of course, keep educating yourself so you can really master your craft, but really have your mindset on point by feeding yourself that positive information and taking that I can do attitude. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So is that what causes a lot of people to be unsuccessful and to quit the real estate game? Is the mentality, do you think?
I think mentality is the key to everything. If you had the right type of mentality, I mean, I think you can do anything you put your mind to. Yeah. But yeah, the mentality is the key. And then another thing, another key ingredient, which sometimes I have issues with, is work ethic, right? Mm-hmm. So say, for example, when everything goes bad, everything is bad and the person's really, really trying to get ahead, I mean, of course, you're going to put in maximum effort to get off of, that uncomfortable situation. But even I learned this from some of my mentors, but the whole goal is to get things up, get things going, and then you sit back and cruise. But you got to keep grinding, man. You got to keep grinding. You keep grinding. You could be up, but you just got to keep grinding, because it's just more work to do. I mean, you're not where you were, but it's still a whole lot more to do. So that mentality and that work ethic, man, just get in there and put in the work. Yeah.
You can always tell. I heard somebody say this. You can always tell somebody's character when they start winning. Yeah. Because do they let up on the gas?
Right.
Do they go harder?
Right.
And some people, they have billionaires who will sit there and talk about, like, with a straight face, I need more money. Yeah. I need more money. I don't have enough money.
Right.
You got billions of dollars. What are you talking about?
Right.
So after this relationship, you worked with this guy for a period of time. Mm-hmm. What happened after that? How did you start to then scale your own business?
Well, as I was building, as I was working with them, taking care of everything, the one key, like I said, money management. So I was buying a few properties, but really wasn't going too hard, but just, buying properties, putting my money aside. And then, like I said, a lot of times in real estate, when things go up and things come down, and then once, things start leveling out where I had more time, I had the cash, then I started investing myself.
Okay.
A lot more.
Right.
Yeah.
And at that point, you started scaling your own portfolio, and you started. And when did you start transitioning to the seller financing aspect of it?
Oh, that's the other thing too. Like from 2009 on. So after I lost everything, I found my mentor, and then I started pushing forward because that was a way. Before, all I knew is having cash or having credit in order to buy properties. But through this method, I mean, you didn't need to have no money, I had horrible credit and still be able to go on to buy properties. So that's when I started moving forward and doing deals. And actually, I was building my portfolio prior to meeting those guys. It's just when, I got that extra cash that allowed me to step on the gas a little bit.
Nice. Okay. And so let's talk more about what this seller financing thing is, what it means, why it's important, and why you think it's one of the best ways to invest these days.
Yeah, I think seller financing is the absolute best strategy for real estate, and I think it's been the best strategy forever. It's just that it's like a lot of people do it, but not too many people talk about it. So the strategy that I kind of isolate is like my go-to move. Like say if you're playing basketball, you do multiple different moves. My go-to move is not only seller financing, but also like finding the properties like really, really cheap.
Right.
And then I use the seller financing as an exit strategy. And the reason why I say it's the best because you can get involved with it with zero money. I mean, you don't need no money. And then you get involved with zero money. The only thing you need is the information. It's just like, one gentleman says, the information can change your situation, So you get the information and that's all you need is the information, and so you don't need no money. Once you learn how to do it, you can just pretty much take off. And it's like multiple different things you can do. So what I show people how to do, not just a seller financing piece, because say, for example, somebody started off like I started off. So this person needs cash like right now. So what I show them how to do is wholesale, but I call it cash infusion. And because it's just, we're gonna wholesale, but we're gonna wholesale so fast, like super, super fast. Sometimes we get houses and sell them in the same day.
Wow.
Because we getting them, really cheap, and then we turn around and we just turning and burning and just go, just selling really fast. So if a person, if they start off and they need that capital, so I show them that strategy, so we're gonna get them making money. Then another strategy, so it's like three things in one. You got the seller financing that's sitting there. Then you got the cash infusion. Then the other strategy is private money. And that's where the whole thing comes together. So the private money, you have some people out here, a lot of people, actually more people than what people realize. There's a lot of people out here that have a lot of money, a lot of capital. And like we were talking about the work ethic, they just busy working. Working. They got the money, and they want to make money on their money. They just need a person to talk to them with the process where they can make it so they can see that putting their money in this, it makes sense, And I show people how to do that as well. So with all three of those, everything just comes together. So you got a person out there that's working, not getting a return on their money. You can show them how to get a higher return on their money. You got someone out there that has a house that need to sell. They want cash like right now. You can get the cash right now because you just tapped into that other source. You got someone that needs to buy a house when, home ownership is the American dream. You can provide that. And when people get these houses, man, sometimes I got testimonials where the buyers are like in tears, because when everybody's saying no, that they can't get a house because of their credit, they can't get a house because they haven't been on their job long enough, you saying, yes, you can get a house. So you're getting them a house. Then the most beautiful thing as they in the house, they're raising their kids and the kids see the parents own homes and they look up to them and say, hey, instead of they seeing their parents renting for so many years, say, hey, I want to get a house like my mother and father got a house. And so now you improving the household. Then even another big win, you get enough of those going in the area you might have different things going on in the area. So with a renter, you'd be kind of cool. I'm just going to be here for a minute. I'm not really worried about what this guy is doing down the street. But as a homeowner, and you get enough homeowners in the area, this guy or girl doing something down the street, you'd be like, hey man, you need to move on. I'm raising kids here. You can't be doing that around here. So it's like a big win for everyone.
Yeah. So can you tell me about one of those deals, an example of a deal that you thought was a win that kind of incorporates some of those different elements?
Yeah. I mean, I got plenty.
Is there a favorite one, like a memorable deal that comes to mind? One that you'd like to talk about?
Oh, probably the one we talked about the other day.
Tell me about
it. Yeah. So I had a situation where a gentleman came to me, and that's where a lot of times my best deals where people bring them to me. And it was 5 houses, and we did some negotiations, and I bought 5 houses for $3,000 a piece.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hard to believe.
Yeah, hard to believe.
Yeah, I will say though, I fact checked it, and I looked at actual prices were $3,000. So incredible story. Let's hear more about it. What did you do?
Yeah, so I got 5 houses for $3,000 a piece, and what I do is, got the house for $3,000. So at the time, I had the 3,000, right? So I just want to make it be known, like say if a person didn't have the 3,000, right? So of course, I had the 3,000, blessed enough to have the $3,000. But if you didn't have the $3,000, you may have a credit card, you may have a friend that have a credit card. So you come up with the capital somehow, to get the house, right? So I got the property. Then I have a gentleman in the house that he, fixed the house up, and he's paying on it for like 20 years, and he put like $3,000 down.
Okay. So you bought the house for $3,000.
Yeah.
And then you found somebody to pay you $3,000 down.
Right.
And then continue to pay you every single month to live in that house.
Right.
How quickly were you able to get rid of that house once you purchased it?
Oh, wow. I mean, it can happen fairly quickly. Like the time that we usually use within 30 days normally, but with this particular situation, it was like a couple of weeks. I mean, it's like with this strategy, seller financing, most people probably know it as rent to own. If anyone wanted to do a test, they wanted to just like post the ad anywhere and just put up rent to own, you would have like a bunch of people talking. Yeah. Yeah. I think on that one, I think I had like 14,000 hits on it, on Facebook Marketplace. It was nuts.
So what is rent to own exactly? Can you explain that a little more?
Yeah. Rent to own can mean various different things because rent to own is like a slang term for seller finance. It can mean various different things. So you can structure it multiple different ways. So say rent to own can mean that you buying a house on contract, or rent to own can mean that you buying a house lease option, or however the person structure it. But the rent to own basically is like where a person they get an option to buy the home. They're on the path to buying a home, but they don't have to pay all cash for it. So that's what kind of makes it attractive to a lot of people because they already know once they see rent to own, I want to own my home. And then, I get to pay rent until I own it. But as far as the particular terms can vary depending on who's setting the terms up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How many properties do you own?
Yeah, that is an excellent question, and that's one advice I would like to give to the listeners. What you do, the first rule of asset protection, you never tell how many houses that you got, or you never talk about your ownership.
Gotcha.
So that's like the number one rule. So that question, I would like to plead the fifth.
All right, trying to get you.
Right.
Good, yeah. That's good to know. So how do you become really, really wealthy through real estate? Like what's the path to most amount of wealth for the most accessible for most amount of people to become wealthy? Like starting off like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Is there something like that you can share with us?
Absolutely. My recommendations is to find a mentor, find someone to teach you the business. That would be my step number 1. I know a lot of people like to search around on YouTube and read a lot of different things, and absolutely you can get there. But the fastest way to get to where you want to go, find somebody that's kind of doing the thing and kind of learn from them, get around them. Proximity. But we have a mentor that kind of teaches that proximity. Yep. So you hire you a mentor, and then you just kind of go from there. Because as examples that I shared, you don't necessarily need. I mean, of course, if you have money and you have credit, you're gonna potentially you can get there a lot faster. but you don't necessarily need those things. What you do need, you need the right information. Then once you get the right information, you need to take action on that information. Because a lot of people, you know, they study things and even hire mentors, but they don't take action. But if you get the right information, you take action on it, and then that's how you're going to change the situation.
Right. And so what's kind of phase 2? Phase 1 is like get a mentor, have somebody kind of guide you through this kind of stuff.
Right.
And then where do you go from there? Do you figure out a strategy that works for you, or is there a strategy that typically works for the majority of people?
Yep. So what I usually do when after people, you know, come into the program, I have like a battle plan, because everybody's situation is different. Like the one gentleman who he didn't have a lot of money, but he had his network was, you know, had a lot of money. He was able to tap into his network in order to buy a lot of properties. It may be someone that comes into the program and they have the money, they have the credit, then, you know, they have the means where they can start buying, like, you know, right now. And then it may be like somebody like myself, because I only taught it from my perspective that, you know, you coming in with no money, horrible credit, and this is how to go. And of course, you know, that's the grind. And that, I mean, still to this day, that really excites me, you know, the grind, you know, you just pretty much get it from the bottom, you know, but it's, you know, I've done it as possible. And that's usually that's like the core of the program, because that's still kind of warm to my heart. You know, you're starting off with nothing and you just creating something serious, but you're going to work. I mean, we're going to put in, it's going to be a hustle. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Now let's say phase 3, where somebody's gotten going, they got a few different properties.
Right.
They understand how to accumulate this real estate and kind of close deals. What do you think would be phase 3? Like, what's after that?
After you start buying properties?
After you get a few properties under your belt, after you get a few deals.
Yeah, to keep going. I mean,
just keep going.
Keep going. Yeah, I got a guy up the road from me. He has 500 houses. He he makes like a couple $100,000 a month. Yeah, you want to keep going, and that's what I keep going. My thing is to keep going forever. You know what I mean? Yeah, just keep going, keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How does somebody acquire their first property? What tips do you have for somebody to kind of just get started in the game?
Well, you know, I harp back on to the mentor deal, you know, hiring a mentor. If you're going to get into it for us on the investment side, hire a mentor. I think that's step number 1 to learn the business, not just arbitrarily get into it, to learn the business. Because I have a story. This one guy I met, he wasn't a student of mine. He was going to be a lender. And he asked me to kind of look at a deal that he just did. And, you know, he didn't have a mentor. He ran the numbers, and he bought a property. It was in Denver, Colorado, and it was a horrible deal. I told him it was a horrible deal. He's like, "No, I bought it, and based on my numbers, it's going to be, you know, something special." Man, he put his life savings in there, lost it all, man.
Oh man,
yeah, the guy's in his late 60s. He wiped out his whole retirement. It's a horrible situation, man. The guy called me up just a few months ago. He needed like just $50 just to get food, man.
Oof.
Yeah, normally I don't give money away, but in that particular situation, I made an exception. But it's sad, man. So getting a mentor, I strongly recommend getting a mentor. It's step number 1, so you can learn this business. And that's not a one-off. Real estate is popular, it's sexy. You know, you see a lot of people making a lot of money in real estate, but what you don't see the people like that story. You don't see the people that lose a whole lot of money invested in real estate. Not really want to harp on the shows on TV, but it's TV for a reason. That, you know, HGTV, I mean, it's a very entertaining show, but in the reality of it, you buying houses and you fixing up and you selling them for a whole lot of dollars. Obviously, it works for people, but it's a whole lot of other people. And when I say a whole lot of other people, that wasn't like a slip up. It's a whole lot of people that lose a whole lot of money on these buy, fix, and flips.
Yeah.
So seller financing strategy, particularly the way I teach it, I absolutely love it, and I strongly recommend everyone at least hear what I got to offer so I can get them started on the right path.
Yeah. I mean, when we talk about, you know, finding a path to success, you're going to pay for it one way or another.
Right.
You're going to pay for it with your time,
right,
or you're going to pay for it with your money.
Right.
And sometimes you're going to pay for it with your time and your money. Well, in all aspects, you really do. But, you know, where you try to do something yourself and it takes you longer than you expected, And because of the mistakes that you made along the way, it's more expensive than you were anticipating.
Right.
If you were to just download all the right information up front, you would be able to get there much faster.
Right.
Find your goals that were achieve your goals that you set out for yourself and minimize your risk. I mean, all the smartest people in the world understand the value of working with the coach.
Yes.
And then here you are, average Joe, looking up how to make $1 million on real estate on YouTube, right. And all of a sudden they think that they're just gonna figure this stuff out for yourself. So,
right.
Yeah, getting mentors is an amazing way to go.
Yep.
Can you tell us more about your program? Like, what can someone expect working with you?
Well, they can expect that I'm always there for them. That's one thing, my students, depending on what level you start with, you get my personal cell phone number. Because you learn the information, say you learn the information as you go out into the world. I'm not, saying that you learn the information, everything is going to be beautiful, right? So when you run into a problem, this is what you don't get from watching a YouTube video, is that when you run into a problem, how do you fix that problem? So the one thing, say whatever situation you run into, I'm just one phone call away. So I'm right there with you. So whatever problem you run into, we're going to define a solution where we can fix it.
Right.
Yeah. So, but of course, as we moving forward, we're putting everything out there to prevent you from running into the problem. But when you do run into a situation, I'm just one phone call away and we could come in and solve it.
I mean, the value of that right there, just having somebody reliable to be able to call. And not just being a favor, asking somebody that has making money in real estate, just asking them for a cup of coffee. They don't want your coffee. You know what I'm saying? They want some kind of value exchange. And if all you're doing is calling them asking for favors all the time, I mean, you're going to lose that person as a friend.
Right.
So it's nice to have someone that's a dedicated mentor, that's a subject matter expert in that area, that you can always call and just be able to problem solve your problems.
Right.
Get these things taken care of.
Yeah, and that call, that's like an added benefit. Now, we have our weekly meetings, our weekly accountability meetings where we're going over the material, make sure we're heading in the right direction and putting things in place in order to prevent those problems from happening and maximizing the opportunity that we've been given. But in the event you run into a situation before the meeting, after the meeting, or anytime, I'm just one phone call away. So that's one of the things that I add into the program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's kind of next for you? What's the next steps for you? Where do you want to take this business? So you've built up your real estate business to be successful, and now you're kind of going back and helping people that are trying to accomplish the same thing that you accomplished.
Yes.
I'm just curious about what's next for you. What are you looking to do next?
Man, I just want to spread the knowledge around too, because I know it's a lot of people that may have some financial issues or approaching a retirement and don't really have a solid plan, or maybe have a plan and maybe not too sure about the plan. I just want to just show everyone this investment strategy so I can just help as many people as possible. The strategy works for anyone, whether you have, horrible credit, no money like I was, or if you a situation where you have the ability to buy properties, it'll work for them as well. So it works for everyone. So my goal is just to share the information with as many people as possible.
Mm-hmm. And why is it so important for you to begin to achieve this financial success for yourself? Why is it so important that you understand how to, that you learned how to create wealth in business? Why is that important to you?
Well, I mean, I do it for I talked about my daughters, my kids, just kind of paving the way for them, showing them the real estate business and business in general, and just showing them how to be successful with it. So that's my biggest reason, just to, show my kids, to kind of laying down the path to show them how to keep going to the next. Now, we got the real estate side. Now we got the coaching business, and we just keep progressing and just kind of laying the pathway down for them. That's my big why.
Right. And once you kind of achieved that, what does your life look like? Once you achieved that, basically, how did that change your life when you went from struggling to actually land on these big deals, making a bunch of money every month? How did that change your life once you finally understood how to crack the code and you started actually working towards that? What did your life look like?
Yeah, now see, that's where things get kind of different, because the mentors that I learned from, and you always, in life, you're always going to have mentors. The mentors I learned from, and what a lot of people believe, I mean, I'm not like 100% one way or 100% another way, but mentors I learned from is that once you achieve a certain success, you can pretty much take your foot off the gas if you want to, right? So just, that's kind of like, I had these properties, you accomplished, you making all this monthly income, and then you get the windfall of money that comes in, and so things are, better than good, right? Things are great. You know what I mean? So that being said, is that you continue to learn, and the mentor that I hired, I need to put my foot on the gas and never take it off ever, because how he teaches, like, all flat lines fall, so you gotta constantly be creating, constantly be advancing yourself and just get more into the create. So if you constantly creating and you constantly growing, when life happens, because you run into different situations no matter where we at in life, but if you constantly creating, when you creating a solution for a future problem that you don't even know that you have. And so that'd be a good lesson for anyone that's listening to this. So say, for example, you might be good right now. You might think your business is great, but if you're not constantly looking to learn and grow, you may have a problem in the future that you don't even know. And if you pass on this opportunity that can help solve that problem in the future, you know what I mean? I think it's worth for everyone to kind of learn the business and get involved with it.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to the first YouTube video you ever put up there.
Yeah.
If you hadn't have put yourself out there and created something with your daughter that day, your story could have been completely different.
Yes.
I mean, it was a 15, 20-minute video that you guys took, and that literally changed your lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And then the video too, like, I shot it with my cell phone. It was downtown. It was wind blowing. The quality is not as good as this. Yeah. So it's just,
no videographer,
no
fancy camera, no like crazy script, no like amazing lighting, like none of that stuff.
Yes.
It's just pure putting yourself out there. And I've heard this saying that if you're not embarrassed by your first attempt, you waited too long.
Right.
That means that you have to put stuff out there, even if it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Because you can't use, perfectionism as a excuse for procrastination.
Right.
You need to just execute, and you figure it out along the way. Like, you get better by doing it. You don't get better by preparing for it, depending on what you're trying to do. But I think if people expect the first few times to mess up a little bit, that's okay. Even in real estate, even with working with the mentor, it's very possible that things will get messy your first time around.
Yeah, but you got the mentor right there.
But having somebody as a safety net will be really the difference between, does that mistake make you bankrupt?
Right.
Or does that mistake, are you able to cut your losses on that mistake to where now I can go on and get another deal because at least I didn't lose it all?
Right. Or better yet, be able to fix the deal where you don't lose anything.
Boom.
And that's the one thing with real estate. I mean, if you got the knowledge, and it's just so many different angles to approach a situation, a lot of times you can prevent from losing any money if you know what you're doing.
What do you want to tell people that are thinking about getting into real estate for the first time?
Well, just to reiterate, one thing I just want to share with folks is that, I mean, if you're thinking about getting into real estate, no matter what background you are, what's your background, no matter what's your financial situation, whether you have a whole lot of money or if you don't have, no money, you know what I mean? If this is something that you want to get into, seek out a mentor. I really believe that, seek out a mentor, somebody can just help you, guide you. One example, it was a kid actually. He was following me around. Like, I don't have a whole lot of YouTube videos. There are going to be more though, but he was following me around on YouTube for years. And every once in a while, I didn't know the guy was just like 16. He called me up and asked me a question at the time. I just try to help people because this business has been such a blessing for me. And the guy turned 18, and he called me up. He said, "I'm 18 years old." He had the money. He wanted to join my program. I was like, "Wow!" He's in Texas. And the kid, he joined the program the first week. Put a deal together. He made like $5,000 up front, $400 a month, and he had like $45,000 on the back end.
Wow!
So yeah, that's the thing, man. You just you get in, like say that's what, like say for example, if a person didn't have any money, I'm talking about like zero. I mean, you can always, follow me like on YouTube or Instagram and things like that, and just kind of put things together. And when your situation change, call me up, get into the program so we can take it to the next.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're just about out of time. Do you have any final message you'd like to tell people? Anything else that we missed?
I think real estate is a wonderful business. I think everyone should get involved in it. And if you're looking to, get involved in real estate, definitely, contact me and we see if we can put something together to work for you.
How can people get a hold of you? We're going to put some links in the description and stuff, but people want to talk to you. How do they get a hold of you?
Man, I am so old school. I mean, I don't look at myself as old school, but I am so old school. You can always give me a call. My phone number, 567-277-1235, 567-277-1235, and I answer my own phone.
Beautiful.
Give me a call, shoot me a text.
Man, Armond, thank you so much. This has been great, very informative. I love learning about seller financing and this unique method that you have, and just the importance of working with a mentor and how impactful real estate can be. So thank you so much for taking the time today. And I look forward to seeing you, working with you more.
Yes. Thank you, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Yep. All right.